That's Scott Bolden right now, the former Washington, D.C. Democratic Party chairman. Always like having Scott on. Scott, now we're told that a lot of people, I don't know whether this is etched in stone, 8 out of 10 of them not confident that America's best days are ahead of them. A similar statistic about 8 out of 10 workers who are worried about their job and losing it. Not a good environment for Democrats for the time being. What do you make of it?
Well, I think when you use those types of statistics, but then there's more to the story, if you will. The Inflation Reduction Act, the Climate Change Act, and all the legislative victories of Biden are changing that slowly. And then you've got the January 6th committee. You certainly have the anti-abortion decision by the Supreme Court. And everything I said to you a month ago about Biden and the Democrats, I take back. They've got life right now, and they are looking to make a race of these midterms in November, and they've got a story to tell. And they have an energized base now because they like the climate change legislation, they like the Inflation Reduction Act, and they've got to tell that story and message to their base that's energized now to go out and vote. If they go out and vote, we win.
All right. It might energize the base. To your point, it might be too little too late to swap the House, but the Senate could be another matter. What are you seeing there?
Well, we're ahead in Georgia. We certainly are ahead in Pennsylvania. Those are two not only bellwether states, but states that the Republicans wanted to pick up. And so they're in trouble because of the bad choice and Trump's choices for these candidates, if you will. And so that's going to be a problem for the Republicans. But here's the key. Here's the key for your listening audience. The voters, independents, Democrats, and Republicans have got to feel that gas prices are going down, inflation's going down. I mean, we're creating 500,000 jobs a month, so we can't be in a recession, if you will, but voters have to feel the impact of this Democratic legislation and this messaging.
Well, they're not feeling it at the grocery store. They're not feeling it at the grocery store, right? You're quite right on the pump. They will. We don't know for how long. But does that worry you? Does that worry you? And that so few Democrats want Joe Biden to campaign for.
Yeah, right now. Give it 30 days, though, because once the messaging hits, once the impact of this legislation hits and stuff, you're going to have those in heavy Democratic districts wanting Joe Biden and his surrogates to be there. Those in competitive races where they're running against moderate Republicans, maybe, maybe not. But even then, if it's a close race and the Democrats have a story to tell, Biden will be there.
Do you think voters are going to perceive from the Inflation Reduction Act that it does? I mean, I could tell people that this is the Neil Cavuto thin anchor at Fox, and people are just going to look at me and say, no, you're not. And there's very little evidence to suggest that this is going to reduce inflation, at least in the near years. So you think Americans are buying that?
Well, I don't think they're feeling it, and that's more important than buying it.
Good
because
point.
Real or perceived, it's going to be a powerful piece in their minds and in their pocketbooks and in their homes. The question is, can the Democrats accelerate making them believe and making them feel that the Democrats are the right ones to lead? This legislation has the potential to do that, right? But it's all about Democrats and the messaging, despite what the Republicans are saying, because Donald Trump is under investigation. The January 6th committee, they don't want to talk about it, but that's really one of the big things.
Your whole goal, Democrats' whole goal is to keep mentioning Trump, 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 right? I mean, that's a galvanizing thing, right? That's all you guys do.
Well, we want to talk about reducing inflation. Right. We want to talk about healthcare.
But you just mentioned Trump a couple of times, and all your colleagues do. I get it, but is it all about Trump, Trump, Trump?
It's not all about Trump, right?
Okay.
But
How about
Trump taints all of that. No, Trump.
All right.
Can you say that 3 times?
Yeah, right. Scott, it's always good having you on. You're a gentleman and a scholar. We'll see how it all sorts out. Scott Bolden, the former D.C. Democratic Party chairman. They say around this time of year, it's about how you feel now that results in how you vote in November. Hard to say, but still early. A little more.